Hello everybody, welcome to Zodiac. Welcome. So basically, in this wonderful analyze situation that I'm going to tell you all is that I have been playing against the book gods for 1,000 times. So it's very shocking. Okay, my viewers, I know how it is. I know that my voice seems to be very quiet. Sorry about that again. But the way of this is, I know how it is. But the way of how I'm being played about this whole entire game, the defeat dodgeball game, like I invented it. I've been, not really inventor about the poker thing, but I've been invented the whole entire game. So I have been having all these up and downs between this whole entire thing between the poker gods and I am, right? The book ads are in the cards, right? They're in the cards, right? That's funny, right? Because that's how it goes, right? I'm playing against myself. That's funny. But the way of this is that the way of how to negotiate and understand what's going on, this is how it is. So I have my own analyst, my own ways what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you these ways. I'm going to show you all, and I'm going to tell you about this whole entire graphic, what's going on. The graphic is based on what's going on in one of these charts that I'm going to tell you, and it's based on it. It's based on how it's going to be in that way, whether you're going to enjoy it or not. But the way of this is, you have to understand that, right? This is how it goes. So the way of this is, I'm going to tell you on my little tablet here, I'm going to read you what's happening on this tablet. It says, so Pogods has 1,000 points, lose 1,000 points, plus 4 points, right? That's what they did. And then Zoyaux, as me, I have at least 1,000 points, lose 1,000 points, plus 13 points. So, that's like 1,013 points versus their 1,004 points. That's how it goes. But the way of this is, there are two basically paragraphs here. These graphs here, these charts, I mean. By the way of this is how it is. This is like how it's between the way of how it is in that way. So you see it and you think, okay, well, this is how it goes. So you see it as wonderful feeling, So I have the pie chart here on the left side and on the right side where it looks like a mountain. It's the way about how it is, right? It's like that's how it goes in that way. Whether you see it as a wonderful way about knowing to do, that's how it goes, right? So you see it as a wonderful feeling. You know what's right, what's the way of how it goes. So you see it as a wonderful feeling that you get to know what to do. So if I was showing you about this chart over here, let's say it was like, between Zodiac's 1,000 gains and Zodiac's, this is between my percentage. So between like number 9 and number 11, if I just point it here, it's like 9, 3, and then over between 11, 13 to 7, right? That's how it goes. And then if you keep going between like number 15, item 15 is 15 to 9, right? And it keeps going all the way to like number 18. So Yaux has 13, right? So it goes down the line of this whole entire situation, like the 19, is 7. Like there's always these things. So when you look at it from a different perspective, you see it as one feeling. You know how it is, right? You see it as a different format. Like you see it as a wonderful feeling. You look back and think, well, this is how what Zodiac is doing. Yeah, because when Zodiac has a lot of card games, and I've been playing over the years from how it is. This is how my percentage is, right? This is how it goes. It's the way of how it is, right? So I know that this is gonna be a very short video to say it, but the way of this is the way it kind of goes in that way, and this is how it goes in that way, right? This is the way it works. But dignity and the way of how it goes in that way, you have to see it as a wonderful feeling. You know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know the ability, because that's how it goes. And whenever you decide to, you know how it goes in that way, right? So it's just the way how it works. But the way how it is in that way, majority, that's how it goes in that way. Whether you decide to, whether you look at the percentage, whether you understand about the graphics. It's the way how it works. And when you have your own graphics, you know about that own sensitivity, whether you have your own both to move, having 1,000 games, and let's say your opponent has 1,000 games. If you basically add 1,000 to another 1,000, that's like 2,000 altogether, right? But whenever you have the percentages about losing 1,000 games, or that's how it goes. The pro guys will actually lose 1,000 games whether they decide to, but it all depends on the cards. It all depends about me shuffling and dealing, and that's how it goes. And yes, right. And the points actually are just kind of having fun, but the points are basically knowing that when you take a point, whether if it's the flop, the turn, the river, the last card, it means that you need to have that own position to know what's going on. You know how it is. You know how your own abilities to understand that is the way of how it is. So when you believe in that way, whether you see it as fulfilling, you have to take take a step forward, not to take a step back. But the way this is, you have to know and understand that, right? That's how it goes. So you see it as fulfilling. You know what's right. You know how it is. You know what's going on. And when you see it, that's the way it works. It's the way of how you can, do that. You're not trying to lose control. You're not trying to do that. But the way this is, you have to, get to decide of knowing what to do, right? So, the way how this is about that, what I show you about that pie chart and the other one, the other chart, that's how it goes. Whether you see it as fulfilling, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know how you can do it as long as it needs to. And when you do it, it's like, okay, well, this is how it works. This is the way it kind of plans out. Yes, but the ability to understand about your own mathematics and about your percentage, there's always a percentage. There's always the house edge. The house edge will be very interesting how it goes, and when it does, you have to understand of what it seems to be in that way. Whether you focus on that, whether you focus about divine timing, and how it is, and you see it as fulfilling, how it goes, right? So whether you have a percentage and your percentage is 2.25%, that's the way of how it goes in that way. You have to know about all the mathematics to understand it. You have to know what's right, what's wrong, and that's how it goes. So, this is the way it works. This is the way of how it is in that way, and, the ability of knowing what to do. And you have to understand that, right? So, everything is not short and sweet. But the way this is, you have to look at it from a different way. And it's basically how it goes in that way, whether you like it or not, whether you know about it, right? That's how it goes. So, before I let you go, try to pay attention to what's whole entire, knowing about this, but, this is how it goes in that way, and this is how it is in that way. So, I hope you all like this video. Try to understand it, try to believe it, try to know what's right, what's wrong, but the way of how it is, you understand of how it goes in that way, whether you know how it is, right? So you understand, and when you do, that's the way it works. Whether you focus on that, you focus about how it is, but that's what it seems to be. So this is how it goes. Hopefully you understand about this analyze, and this is the way it works, and you have to know about what's going on in that way, and that's how it seems to be. So I hope you all like this video. Try to understand it, but please give a like, please leave a comment if you want, and this is how it goes. So, my voice can be